Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to talk about the winners and losers of the Stormcast Eternals Battletome. With a Battletome this large, with what is it, something like 70, 80 plus units in it, there are bound to be some winners and some losers in the Battletome, but I don't think for certain that they are all the ones people are thinking of. People think that maybe Old Cast got absolutely hammered, when I don't think everything Old Cast actually lost a lot. I mean, some things definitely lost some, but some things definitely got a lot better. And it's a way of how we look in things to perspective. For the purpose of this, I'm going to sort of ignore points. Points will sort of, I guess, be a minor deciding factor in whether I think something is good or not, because it is the easiest thing you can ever change in the game. It could be the simple thing that points change something and make them really good. But for the most part, I think the things I've picked for winners definitely do well at their current points value and what they are. I've played quite a few games now with the new Stormcast Eternals Battletome. By no means is this the most competitive list of options, but there are definitely things that got a lot better and gave you some lot more tools and pieces to play with on the table. So, without further ado, let's get cracking into this. This is 7 winners and losers for the Stormcast Eternals Battletome. And so, our first winner, all the new stuff, but not you, Knight. Knight Arcanum, you're not that great. Like, Yndrasta is a solid piece. The new Vindictors are probably the best battle line. The Praetors serve a very functional role. The Banner of Apotheosis combines well with Yndrasta to make a good healing ability for your Stormcast army. Annihilators are solid in either variation, whether damage dealing with the Twin Hammers or their 2-up save immovable Paladin options, and great for mortal wound spam in a MSU build. We've also got some great characters. The Lord Imperator has a really cool ability, bringing a unit down once per turn with Signs of the Storm to be 7-inch away. And then we've got other things like the new Archers and the other new units from the army as well. Especially, like, let's not forget, Dragon Riders and Karazai the Scarred and Korondris Shun of Dracothian. All fantastic units. All the new stuff definitely came out really well. I mean, this is what people were sort of expecting, all the new stuff to be good, and it is. Maybe some of it is maybe too good in comparison, but once again, like I said at the start of the video, I think points can change that. Some of this stuff probably needs to go up, or some other stuff in the book probably needs to go down, and we're at a pretty good base level. But what a lot of these things do is they gave us a ton of different options. I think Praetors are a really fun option, giving us that sort of bodyguard unit, and Vindictors being a mortal wound dealing combat unit for a battle line option is not something we have in other things like Sequitors and Liberators. So there's definitely an option there. Not only that, but Annihilators being in the 3-man units, they have their weaknesses compared to other Paladin units, though they have that 2-up save, which definitely makes them interesting. There are other Paladin units with that available to them, so the Mortal Wind Splash comes into it there, sort of playing off against what we get with other Paladin units. Next up for our winners, I talked about them a little bit before, and of course Annihilators bring into this sort of category again, and we have Paladins. But I don't just want to talk about Annihilators, because I really do think all the Paladins in the book came out on top. They all gained a 3-up save, which is amazing. The amount of models you can now get on a 3-up save in this entire Battletome is awesome, and Paladins having that 3-up save, particular with the ability of the Protectors to get an additional point of save as well, putting them up to that 2-up as well, add on to their 3-inch reach, I really think Paladins are useful. The only one I've not got a lot out of is the Retributors so far with their mortal wound output. They generally seem to get killed off earlier than the other ones. Decimators are really fun against hordes. Having 7 attacks with potentially playing Knights Excelsior to be 2s and 2s. Potentially 8 if you've got your ability in there for that once per game command ability. 8 attacks, 2s and 2s. Ren 2 is really, really solid. Just the amount to put through so many attacks on these models with Ren 2 is what makes these Paladins great. Like, this will make any of the Paladin units good. Ren 2 is really strong, and just there's so much available with it when you take these Paladins. The fact you can make them battle line now, they came out so well out of this book, I think, with the Star Soul Maces keeping their same ability for 2+ D3 mortals. Solid. Paladins are awesome. Number 3 on our winners, we've got Vanguard Hunters and Vanguard Paladors. And I think this is pretty simple why they're good. Well, they both just gained free teleports. Vanguard Paladors don't have to abide by any rule, and we should add as well that is the Griff charges that give them this rule. So add into that Lord Aquila and the Nord Arcanum on Griff charge as well. They all get free teleports, really strong ability. The Vanguard Hunters have a slightly weaker one when they have to deploy near the table edge, but it is still a teleport that they can use to get around the board nice and easy. This, I think, just makes all the units great. It really just sort of ups what they can do on the table. The ability to have units that can redeploy every turn is really powerful. Anyone that's played against or with K-Knight Shadowstalkers will tell you how good that ability is. The fact you can do this and actually have a full army of Vanguard Hunters and Paladors teleporting around the battlefield to enable you to do whatever you need to do with that movement is absolutely fantastic. They definitely came out strong, that rule alone, plus they also gained some rend. The Paladors did lose a couple of special abilities like the Lunar Blade and stuff like that, but I do think they still came out on top with the addition of some rend on even like the base troops. The fact that the Vanguard Hunters have rend, one of those little crossbows they pop 2 shots out of, pretty decent. Definitely came out well. Next up, we have Prosecutors. That's right, Prosecutors are actually good. This is great because they are one of the coolest models. I think when the initial box set for Warhammer Age of Sigmar came out, they were one of the Stormcast units that everyone loved at the very start. And so Prosecutors definitely came out strong. First of all, we've got a 3-up base save for the Prosecutors with the Javelins, which is really good. The other unit does have a 4, but has, some more shooting attacks. And they did lose a little bit of range on those hammers coming down in range, but still pretty sweet. They gained rend on a lot of their attacks as well, and they still kept their Herald of Righteousness ability, which allows them to charge 3d6 and declare from 18 inch instead of 12. However, what they came out really well with is Dispersed Formation. So this is a rule both Prosecutors and the aforementioned Dragons we've talked about already in the video have, where if they're actually of unit sizes larger, so in the case of Prosecutors 2 to 5 models, they actually get a 3-inch coherency. So this is really cool because this means a unit of 3 Prosecutors can actually flood up a rather large portion of the board. You have 6 inches of space between your 2 models and another 3 inch on the end of your formation because your opponents can't come within 3 inch. Plus you're on 40 mil bases, so this roughly equates to around about 4 inches. You'll have about 16 inches of board space taken up by 3 Prosecutors. That's a fantastic screening ability that you can have to stop your opponent getting into those charging areas and charging zones. However, your opponent will be able to charge through the gaps you do with Prosecutors, but because this Dispersed Formation is going to make charges that much harder, and you can sort of zone out properly as well with it, which is really cool. So some great stuff, especially when zoning out for like teleports and stuff like that. Prosecutors will be really useful to have in your army. Next up, the Lord Celestin on Stardrake. The fact he retained his 3-up save is pretty much the whole reason this guy is in the list. Not just that, but he also kicks back mortal wounds and a successful save roll of a 6. So that can be really fun. There's actually an artifact for this guy that I think is really fun, where you can put it on him and he gets to reroll all saves against damage characteristic of 2 or more, which can mean you're getting more 6s to push back onto your opponents. So this guy can be on a 2-up save, rerolling against anything that's not damage 1, and also, damage 1 he can generally ignore. You've got some cool artifacts to keep him out of harm's way as well, with some cool things there as well, but in general, I really do think he just came out strong. The fact you can put him on that sort of 2-up save for a monster, he's everything you want for Stormcast Eternals to be a 2-up save, just sort of strong monster. He's got better in his attack profiles, he's got more range, he's got more damage, consistency across the profile. Really solid model now. Next up, Lord Relictor. This is a really strong priest. First of all, he's on a 3-up save base, so that means he can be a 2-up save hero with 6 wounds. That's a priest as well. That's pretty good in that book. But he's got some cool War Scroll spells. He's got a heal and a damage for D3 on both of his War Scroll prayers. In addition, he's +1 to cast prayers naturally. This means a bunch of prayers are going to be going off on 2-ups for him. He's really, really strong, just simply because of that +1 to prayer rule. Number 6, we have the Celestin Prime, the first scion of Sigmar, Sigmar's chosen champion in the mortal realms. He came out really well at this. First of all, he gained a 4-up ward, so this is just great. His biggest downfall has always been that he's 8 wounds with no ability to ward anyway, ever possible. Now he's got a 4-up ward, he's on a 3-up save, which means he can go that all-important 2-up save as well. And then he's just got the ability to take all-out attack. He's got that once per game ability to make 1 roll. So when he drops down, he can make that 12-inch charge. He can get to where he needs to be, and also he can just do the damage of what needs to be done. Just a fantastic model. He got the right sort of buffs that he needed, stayed roughly around the same sort of points value. He's really fun, he's really useful, and he's really strong now in the new book. And last for my winners, we have Gardas Steel Soul. Gardas came out really well out of this book, which is fantastic. I mean, he's just one of those models you want to be able to use. First of all, Gardas has a 3+ save, so that's awesome. No longer that silly 4+ save he had for some reason. He's then got, like the Lord Celestin, his War Cloaks then changed to be a d6 damage attack. I mean, this is maybe a little bit worse than what it used to be because it was mortal wounds before. But red 1, damage 2 in combat with 5 attacks is nice. But the big thing he does really well is friendly Halo Knights within 12 inch of him have a ward of 5+. This means he has a ward of 5+ as well himself. And then he's also got the Saintly Assault, where once per battle at the start of your charge phase, you can declare a Saintly Assault. If you do so until the end of that turn, you can reroll charge rolls for friendly Halo Knights within 12 inch and add 1 to their attacks. Really solid rules. He makes playing Halo Knights fun. Halo Knights got some cool changes in the new rules. It's just great to see such a popular character from the novels have a model now and have some cool abilities that really will hopefully make him see some table time. Alrighty, and on to losers, and we can't start without the Knight Heralder. Pretty simple, we're not going to keep the losers going too long. Pretty simple, he lost his ability to make units retreat and charge and run and charge. Biggest loss. He's still got his cool little doot, I guess, where he can make terrain explode, but he lost his main ability for me, which makes him one of the biggest losers. What purpose does he really serve now? And then next onto another knight, the Knight Questor. He lost a lot of his abilities. I mean, his reroll saves ability was destined for the chopping block, but it is a little sad to see the Knight Questor go away. However, I guess this is the sort of model where I'm not too fussed about because he is a cool model. He's got some cool rules in Warhammer Quest. He's in Warhammer, Warhammer Age of Sigmar Soulbound, the RPG, and I mean, this is like, they mostly are collector models, all the Silas Beastbane and all of the different Knight Questor models we have, like Dacian Anvil, etc. They're all like collector models, so they're still got a place, I guess, in the game. These are the cool Stormcast collector models now. Knight Arcanum up next. I really don't get what this model's exact purpose is. It's a really sweet model and it's really sad. I'd almost always use this as a Knight Incantor myself now. Can't see myself running the Arcanum all that much. The Incantor with that Void Storm Scroll to be the once per game dispel is just always better. And the fact that this actually costs more is a little weird. Evocators are next in our list, and I think one big thing for me makes them losers more than anything. I get that they're not exactly paladins, they are a different sort of equivalent to them, but you know, they're the elite troops on the Sacrosanct Chamber. I thought a cool change to Evocators would have been to give them a 3+ save. That would have made them a really cool unit on the table. But the fact that they just sit on that 4+ save still, and they've lost their ability to be -1 to hit with missile weapons from their Storm ability, it does sort of hurt them a little bit. The fact they're pretty much the same, except they lost one rule that made them more defensive, I guess just generally makes them losers because they weren't particularly doing too great already, and they didn't gain a lot. They also get a 1-inch range now on their Grand Staves, so yeah. Evocators, because they stay the same, I'm putting them in losers more because I think they had so much potential. A 3+ save changes my mind on this unit completely, but at current times, I just don't see them being worth it. Next, we have Liberators, and my, does this make me sad. I mean, anyone who's watched the channel know I have 60 of them painted up, sitting on the shelf over there, and that's probably where they'll stay for the foreseeable future inside a competitive setting. We might see them in some narrative games eventually. But yeah, Liberators definitely go on the losers pile. The fact they can only ever get 3+ save, they're a 4+ base, and they only ever get +1, and they get that innately, so they can never go higher than that, is sad. But the biggest thing for me is the 4+ to wound on them. That just hurts them so much. None of the other battle line units have that issue. They cost more points than some of the other battle line units. I can't see myself taking too many Liberators in the future. Losers, Gavriel Shoreheart. I mean, we knew this guy was going to probably fall into this list when his command ability could no longer stack in the new edition. That was his big thing that he brought to the game. He gives it reroll charges in a bubble, which is nice, but he's just definitely been on the decline with the new edition. He doesn't really do much that other characters can't do. I mean, you're better off bringing a Lord Imperator, dropping something 7-inch away like Annihilators and rerolling a charge, or just spending command point on an Imperatance unit for a rerollable charge, than taking Gavriel Shoreheart. And lastly, in my losers list, we've got the Knight Azeroth. Losing his ability to light up units around near him. He does get a once per game cool +1 to hit ability instead, but it's just not the same. He's definitely on the decline. now, which is a shame because he is an absolutely fantastic model, so I wish we could see more of him. We might still see a bit of him. He's definitely not the worst in this list of my losers, but he definitely falls into there just because of how far I think he's fallen from where he was. Almost an auto-include in a Stormcast list to probably, you know, one of those last units you ever take. But that was our list. I'd love to hear from everyone on what you think are the winners and losers for you in Stormcast. Let us know in the comments below. Love to hear from you all. Well, that's the video, everyone. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fine little community here at Sinful Gaming, we have a Discord server which you will find a link to in the description of the video. And if you'd like to help support the channel more in a different way, you can do so either by following a link in the video to our Teespring store and purchasing some merch, or by helping support the channel via Patreon or YouTube members. As a special thanks to everyone who has supported the channel via Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give a shout out to all of them. So thank you to our patrons Christian Weir, James Soren, Chaos Spawn, AJC, Kenny Lyle, Outer and Shop First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, MJ and Dynat226. A special shout out as well to all our YouTube members: Greenrich Gaming, Kenton Young, Steve T, The Real, Zeop, Chris Wallace, Turai12, Vinny, Lock Lorick, Matt Mollim, Becca, Kinski Groupie, The Johnny84 and El Mapache. And a special thanks as well, first of all, to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel. It's absolutely amazing. People love it. I love it. She's fantastic. You can go find her on Instagram. And also a special thanks to Xmorphic, who does a great job behind the scenes for our Discord server, running everything amazingly over there for me. That's it for today, folks, though. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.